Get on the target.
In this episode, Larry and Jay are going to break down how to utilize a bag for shooting off of different kinds of props. This is kind of an intro into shooting off of props and utilizing bags. There is more that goes into it. If you want more information on that, check out Ridgeline. They've got a whole class. You can probably check out their precision courses. Check out Larry, follow him on Instagram, follow Jay. I'll link them down below, but I'll let you guys get into it.
Finally, we're here. We can get to talk about bags and positional stuff, which is my favorite part of kind of the precision rifle long range shooting game. It adds another factor in, another puzzle to solve, you know, before you can get to your actual firing solution. So first I'll talk about these bags. We're gonna go down the prop line, and we'll kind of talk about all these things and nuances of shooting off of each one, shooting off of uneven terrain and all that stuff. But first we'll talk about these barricade support bags that you guys have seen us talk about and mention throughout the barricade stuff, and also kind of some guys are using it as rear bags, which is totally fine. I do too. So this one that I'm holding, there's a bunch of different styles of bags, right? This one's the Armageddon Gear wax canvas medium with the heavy fill in it. I know it's a mouthful. So there's a bunch of different companies that make bags, rear bags, barricade bags, stuff like that. Armageddon Gear is our favorite. They make the best ones in our opinions. So they have 3 different sizes. So this one's called the Game Changer. But if you kind of look at it, looks like kind of that fortune cookie looking shape, right? There's 3 different sizes of them. There's the OG, which is the bigger one, which I think you got, right? This one's the medium, and then there's the pint size that Jimmy has, if you guys see that one. I prefer the medium one. It kind of tends to be the best size for kind of the do-all bag. And then each one they have kind of 3 different fills you can put on them. So the fills, you can go from the light fill, which is super lightweight, which is great if you're going to be using it for any sort of like tactical stuff, or, you know, long movements, or like hunting where you're carrying it through the mountains. Like, not many people want to carry this like 12-pound bag through the mountains. So there's the Get Light fill, which is the light one. There's the regular fill, which is kind of just like little beads in there, right? And then there's the heavy sand fill one. Sand fill, as you kind of go up the tiers, the more stability you get. Almost, I've actually found that the Get Light fill is almost a little bit more stable than the actual regular fill, but the sand fill blows both of them out of the water. Like it is a game changer, an absolute game changer when you go up to the sand fill. And the stability that you can get if you use it correctly, like I'm telling you, you can literally get prone stability off of almost any barricade here if you use it properly. When a lot of newer guys, and I see when they look at this, they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, man! I can go right in the middle, right here, like that." This is absolutely not how you use it. Do not use it like that. I'm telling you right there. I see a ton of people do it. You're not using the bag to its potential. So the way these were designed is to kind of morph around props and all that type of stuff, and used in different ways depending on what size or shape prop or anything like that you're going to. So knowing the different ways to manipulate this versus kind of in comparison to whatever you come up to on the line is huge, right? This is kind of one of the most underutilized skills, I would say, for kind of any sort of the precision marksman game, is like knowing all the uses of this and using it correctly to just maximize that stability, right? So we'll start, since I'm already on this concrete right here. Any sort of kind of flat, wide, super solid surface, I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to actually just turn it sideways and go on the side right here. So what we're trying to do across every position is trying to maximize the surface area contact that the bag has with the rifle, right? Some guys will go kind of points up like this, if you will. That's totally fine too. You know, do whichever one of these 2 you want. But that's going to give you kind of the most contact with the bottom of this gun and lead to the most stability. As you can see, when I set the gun there, it holds itself, right? So ideally, when you come into a position, you're going to place the bag in the proper way, and then you're going to position the gun to where like the guns naturally should want to point at the target. Again, natural point of aim is of the shooter as well as your equipment. One thing with this, as you're coming into a position, another thing that I see guys kind of mess up a little bit with when it comes to the bag stuff is bag placement. Getting like a really solid initial bag placement is crucial when you're getting into a position, and it's going to save you a ton of time and stability. So what I mean by that is I see a ton of guys, they'll come into a position, they'll be all rushed, like, oh my God, I'm on here, right? And then they put their gun, it's either barely on the bag or it's on the side of a thing and their gun's just rolling off of it and you're just fighting it the whole time, right? That's not what you want. If you want to come into a position, obviously ID whatever position you're going to shoot off of, orient the bag, kind of prep the bag in your hand in a way to where it's going to lend yourself to efficiently get into that position. Place the bag correctly, settle the gun down onto it. Another thing I see guys do is they'll come and set the bag down, they'll sit here like this. It's not doing anything, right? You don't be afraid to kind of drop your gun down into it, and then you want that bag to kind of morph and grip the outsides of that gun. So once we're here, moving from position to position, if you have to reorient the bag in a different way, I'm going to pick the gun up, move the bag, reorient it in whichever way I need to. But if I don't have to, if I'm going just from position to position like this, I can literally just grab the whole thing as one. So I take just kind of grip from the front of the bag here, move it, and place it down onto the next one. As again, you see it stays right in place, right? The way I'm interfacing with the bag, I'm going to stay on this one and then we'll move on to other props. I'll show you the other ways to morph it around stuff. The way I interface with the bag, if you guys want to kind of come around to this side with my non-firing hand, what I'm really doing here is, again, we keep mentioning this like 2/3 grip thing, as far as like rifle to bag interface, right? I do the same thing here with my non-firing hand. Pretty much for most guns, it's super important to know the balance point of your rifle, right? If I put this right here, I put my bipods right there, what am I doing? I'm using muscle to hold up the back of the gun, right? Which leads to instabilities. I want to put it right in the center of the balance point. So really, the gun's keeping itself steady. The gun is steady until I touch it, right? Again, we need to put as much force as we can to control as much recoil as we need to for each shot, right? And that depends on the different cartridge, the different recoil of gun that you have. But as I come in here, what I'll do is kind of that 2/3 grip. So these bottom 3 fingers, I'm kind of wrapping around the bag, and then my top 2 fingers are kind of controlling the front of the gun. For one, I can kind of do minute aim, kind of aiming with my front hand. And 2, I'm kind of taking the bag and the gun, and I'm squishing them and kind of crimping them together like that. So it creates kind of that solid surface in between both of them. So as I come in, if you know you're going to come into a position, it's also not a bad idea to pre-prep your bag onto your rifle, right? So then when you come in, it's already right there and you get down behind it. Again, shooting off of any of these props, all of the same fundamentals that we talked about on doing the barricade work yesterday, it's all the same. Like I said, all of this stuff, all it is just different heights of positional, right? With the caveat to that is it's different heights of positions, but it's also different widths of positions, right? So with different widths, what's the most stable position? So when we can get 2 points of contact on the rifle, right? When we're not in the prone, just laying on the ground, and we have a position to where we can get our bipods down and a bag under the rear. We call that modified prone, with you not actually laying on the ground. If you can do that, absolutely do that. You're only going to have more stability and you're going to have more control over the rifle. Anything really like 4 inches or narrower, if you will. 4 inches down to like 2 inches. I get really minute with this because I want to have the most stability that I possibly can. So like 4 inches, like the top of this, I'll probably just mold the bag over the top of that like that. So I have that nice flat surface to shoot off of. Down getting into this or anything really skinny, railing, anything like that, like we talked about when we were shooting off those yesterday, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna flip it upside down, mold it over that. So now I spread these 2 points in that surface area across along the bottom of the rifle, right? That's gonna lead to the most stability shooting off of these. If we go over to the car, the majority of stuff in real life like tends to be pretty wide. So this, laying the bag on its side like this, that's gonna be the, like, honestly the majority of how I'm gonna use it right there, right? But again, one of the biggest things, initial bag placement. Like that's, I can't stress that enough, because I see it so often that people come and they're sitting here and their bag's rolling off of the position and they're just fighting it the whole time. All right, so we'll start off the barricade right here. Bag in my non-firing hand, positioned in a way that it's easy to mold it around the barricade. I'm gonna come into position, set the bag, rock the gun onto there. Sunglasses are annoying. Get on the target. Right, and then if I need to move, I'm going to drop down to this one. Again, that non-firing knee up, get on the target. If I'm coming into a position like this over here, where you're going to morph the bag around it, kind of a little cheat to set yourself up for success and speed is, if I know the bag is going to get in place around the barricade like this, I'm going to essentially just take it how my hand would be and roll it back over my thumb like this. Same goes if I'm going to wrap it around something else. So I'll just roll it over my thumb. So when I come in to place it, I'm coming in, I'm just rolling it around the barricade, placing my gun on it, and I can go to work, right? So this is a technique a lot of competition shooters use, you know, especially in PRS and these lighter recoiling calibers and stuff like that. It's great for having that ultra stability, but you sacrifice recoil control, right? So what I mean by free recoiling the rifle, I almost like to not call it free recoil and almost call it catching the recoil instead of managing it, right? Again, like I said, anytime that you possibly can, do not do this. Put full pressure into the back of the gun, control the recoil like a man, right? But the time that this comes into play, it's for one, say you've been running around, your heart rate's up, your breathing's up. What happens when my heart rate's up and my breathing's up? My chest is interfacing this, which is make my reticle go up and down as I'm breathing, as my heart rate kind of skyrockets, right? So when I do this, I'm not saying take my shoulder, like ideally we want full pressure and contact into this gun, right? I'm not saying completely take my shoulder off and shoot it like this. That's not correct, because you're not doing anything for yourself right there, right? What I am saying is when you get into this and you have too much up and down wobble, but you need to make a really precise shot and your heart rate's jacked and all this stuff, take your shoulder and literally just roll it back, just ever so slightly off of the back of this, like so you could slide a credit card in and out from kind of in between your shoulder and the buttstock, right? So through this process, firmer grip on your non-firing hand up here, firmer pressure down on the front of the gun. That's going to also help kind of mitigate that recoil or control it a little bit. And also you don't want your shoulder so far off, so when it does recoil, you're not getting that input of your breathing, your heart rate into your reticle, but then when it does recoil, your shoulder's close enough that it's just going to catch it and you drive the gun back down on target. It works pretty well for niche situations that you need that ultra precise shot. But again, you're gonna lose recoil control. And the number one thing in long range that you need to do is see where that shot went and correct the center, right? If I get down off of here, pipes, these are pretty self-explanatory. Really, you can really just shoot off of anywhere on here. As you can see, all of these positions, I've just done my bag sideways. I get good bag placement, I get good rifle to bag connection. Get on here, moving across here. If I want to go position to position, again, I'll put my bag down, move to the next one. Anytime that you have, so say you're shooting off like a windowsill or something like that, if you have an upright position, you can slam your gun kind of over to the edge of there. It kind of just adds another dimension of stability, right? So here, gonna shove it right into that corner, get the side of my gun kind of pushed up against that. It's gonna be a lot more stable than just right off the middle here. Shooting off of cars. Competition, find the most stable spot. Real world, get behind something that stops bullets, right? Mainly the engine block. Engine block, tires, or not tires, but the wheels specifically, they tend to do pretty good against actually stopping bullets. I think we were talking about it the other day, but Jay, how many 50 cals have you shot through the engine block?
A ton. Never had one get through even with a .2 load.
There you go. Engine blocks will stop bullets, so get behind them if you can. These posts, again, it's really skinny, so what am I gonna do? Flip the bag over. Again, I have this post right here, so I can push up next to it. These, all it is just different heights. Like we're saying, get in that habit of getting that non-firing knee up. You're going kind of up and down and knowing your positions. Here's a position where I could go that modified prone. It's a long car, right? I got plenty of space here. Fast shooting, yes, I could just throw my bag up here and get onto it and go to work. But if I need to take that little bit more of a precise shot, since I have the length here, you might as well put these bipods down, stand them. It's a little bit too high. Get just a full modified prone. Get a little bit of wind out there now.
All right, that's what this little thing here is for, right? It's not like rappel out of a helicopter or something. It's a tie into your belt and get an extra amount of stability out of the gun. So we talked about yesterday how beneficial slings are and how much work you can do with them, how tight we want them to be. See, I'm hooked it to my lanyard here, but you could also put a D-ring on your belt or something like that. So once I tie into this, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cinch this guy down. And then so when I bring my hips just back slightly, I'm building all the tension that I need. Now, if you make it too tight, what's gonna happen? See how I'm like sucked into the car now? All right, so there is a happy medium on where I want to be. So I'm just locked in here on this target. Getting out of it's easy. All you gotta do, pop that release, and then just get that hook out of there, and you're good to go. You can continue to move again if you have to go to a different spot. But it's just a rapid way of getting the most you possibly can out of this. And again, remember we talked about yesterday on the barricades, right? Keeping that triangle off, so I know my arms are at the right distance. So it's kind of the same thing. So this is connecting to my shoulder up here on my right shoulder. So when I put this here, you see I have a perfect isosceles triangle that's coming in right into my body. So that recoil control, as opposed to pushing me like this, it's just, the gun's not even gonna move. It's on that target there. My sights didn't really jump at all. We have like a 0.1, 0.2 mils. Okay.
So again, guys, once we get in, we're shooting off of these barricades like this. Same thing that we talked about yesterday. I say it's mine, not mine. Kind of the 3 rules that create a good position. Who here does like medical stuff? A little bit. So if you think about the lethal triad, right? Coagulation, acidosis, hypothermia, how they all kind of work together to kill you, right? These 3 things, bone support, muscle relaxation, and natural point of aim, they all work together to create a stable or unstable position, depending if you use all 3 of them. And if you don't use one of them, you're probably not using another. So that as long as you have all 3 of those things, you're square to the rifle, you're in your natural point of aim, you're using your skeletal structure to create stability, and you're not using any muscle tension to hold yourself on target, you probably have a pretty good position. What's up?
Talk about all these barricades that are relatively flat.
Yeah, so slanteds get tough, right? If I'm gonna shoot off of something slanted like this, and I have to, I'll probably put it like that, and then instead of my hand controlling the front of the bag here, I'm just putting my hand on this side to keep the bag from sliding down. You don't get as much control over the front of the gun as you possibly can, depending on how slanted it is or how sticky your bag is. So something with these wax bags, you can re-wax them, and it will make them more sticky, which will help with that. Armageddon Gear also sells what they call as a sticky game changer, which is pretty cool. I still prefer the wax ones. They tend to grip the rifle a little bit better. But yeah, just getting a hand there so that the bag's not sliding down when you're shooting. If I'm shooting off the top here, again, I'm just gonna go right over top like that. These little kind of points like this is, again, every position it's crucial to get good bag placement. These are super crucial. Even if you think you have it through recoil, this thing's gonna start going like that, and immediately, like I've actually, funny story. There was a match years ago. Doesn't matter which one. It's where we're shooting off a tank trap, and one of the guys, like the first day of the match, right? They go up and they were shooting off of the tip of the tank trap. They're shooting a 3 in a Win mag, and their gun falls, boom, and they smoke the ground right in front of them. DQ for the rest of the day. Obviously, it's super unsafe, right?
Right.
Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Hopefully it maybe gave you some things to think about, maybe gave you a foundation for how to utilize a bag shooting in different props from different positions. If you want more information on that, go check out Jay, go check out Larry, follow Ridgeline, sign up for a class. If you have questions, go hit them up. They'd be a great resource to learn from. So thank you guys for following along. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, karate chop that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Yes, you go back. This one. Impact.
Oh, get it.
Impact. 31. Impact. Impact. Misengage. Impact.